Those are my memory sticks. Fuck it. So, if you adjust it, there's perfect justice. So, technically, if I filled out forms, I would get blessed in the same way. So this is QEMU right here. I want to see if the sound is different because this speaker is sinusoid. The other one is some kind of fucked up. VMware is farts. An actual PC speaker is somewhere in the middle. The sinusoid sounds crazy for sound effects. Hey, there's fails. For some reason, is it approaching? It's getting giggly. They have to be delicious. So, what if I color? No. So this is what the songs look like. Look how tiny they are. They're like, this is 700 bytes, 800 bytes. Anyway, no, it's one. You got it wrong. It's about 400 bytes. So I don't know. How's my math? Okay. Anyway, so what was I doing? So I want to show you basically what I have to work on is Moses comics, posting stories from the internet, explaining shit. There's a game called The Perfect General. I'm really not into. When I was young, this was the best. This was heaven. When I was young, playing these games were heaven. This is what I.
QQP's most acclaimed strategy games, but perfection doesn't necessarily mean that nothing else can be done. And Perfect General 2, coming soon from QQP, should redefine perfection again. PG2 will be an improvement over its classic predecessor in many ways, but the most immediately obvious will be the graphics. In addition to the animated units and combat that you'd expect, the whole look of the game has been given an overhaul. The most important additions to PG2 have been in playtest for years at QQP. On the tabletop, designer Bruce Williams Z tests out all of his game designs as paper games first, to see if they're fun, and the games expand and grow there before they make it to the computer version. edition is the elephant tank. It's expensive and it's slow, but it's a moving fortress that can dish out as much punishment as it can take. There'll be machine guns that can fire on every phase, railroads and railroad bridges to blow up, and full campaign play. Gameplay will be identical to PG-1. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the QQP hallmarks of clarity and friendliness, and a lot of handy available info, will all be there. The computer will inform you not only of available attack options, but your odds of success and the potential for target damage. The goal at QQP is to create friendly war games with a very chess-like feel to the strategy. PG-2 will include over 25 scenarios, from the Battle of Kursk to Operation Olympic, the invasion of the port of Japan. Alternate history scenarios will also be included. What would have happened if Hitler had run...
Words can't describe how much I don't like doing that. Words can't describe. So, this is one of my more impressive, I don't know, where'd he go? So you can play a certain game by entering a random seed, and the graphics on here, they're one of the, this is, when I make a screenshot, I sometimes do this because it's one of the more impressive, it's the most impressive thing, one of them. What was I going to say? So, the Perfect General probably takes a couple hours to play. I'm not really, I want to make casual games. I'm not really, I don't even really like games that much. Hello? Hello? Fuck. Battery must have died. Oh, it's okay. I don't know. Okay. Are they the same?
Yours, and I'll put it on charger.
Thanks. So, my phone died. The caller asked about VR. The plan is I command Intel to make super simple serial, and then we have a replacement for USB that's a high-speed serial port, and at that point there will be cameras, there will be other devices. At this point we don't really have any options. Yeah, I don't really we have a limit of 100,000 lines of code. It's there's, I don't know, maybe we get a little bit of VR, I don't know. I'm not that, it doesn't really interest me. When I was young, this was my favorite thing, was these strategy war games. And anyway, so I wanted to make these games casual, because I'm like, so in the regular game you buy your units and you set them up and stuff. Here I just throw them on there and randomly, and you just play really fast. At least that's the plan. There's not a lot of when I play these, it's pretty much tactical and not strategic. It's just dumb. So you can plan your artillery. If you're playing against a player, I don't know. I used to like beating the computer by learning how it behaved and giving it horrible beatings. You know, it's kind of a rude shock when I played a human. I was like, fuck. It's more of an even game. Against a computer, you can beat it, you know, 3-1. But against a human, it's like, damn. It's like 1-1 or something. You don't get major victories. Against a computer, you can just clobber it. But against a human, it's not like you can get major victories. What am I doing? Shooting? Words can't describe how much I don't enjoy this. So this has tank facing. The Perfect General did not have tank facing. So what am I going to do for the next month? And then the month after that? And then the month after that? And then the month after that? It seems pretty inevitable that I'm going to work on this game. What is there to add? Well, airplanes. The artificial intelligence really sucks. Now, if I were motivated, it might be different. But I don't really. I think the kids today don't. This kind of war game. In the 70s and earlier, they had hex war games on paper, and they were real popular. Panzer Blitz, Panzer Leader. My oldest brother got me into it. That was during like when they had Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, and they took the paper games and made them into a computer game, and that's what this is. But really, this is kind of a carryover from the paper. And I think today this doesn't really have a place. There's more modern. I don't know. I guess there's real-time strategy. I think there's still a place for you know the interesting thing is, you might ask what's more realistic, but if you're fighting a war, you have a lot of time. What I mean is, if you're a general in the Iraq War or something, you really do have a lot of time. It's not like a real-time strategy. It's not like a real-time strategy is faster than a real battle, I think. I guess, I don't know. I think what a real war is hours and hours or days of planning followed by execution. I think that doesn't really sound like fun. Like if you sat around here and planned what you're going to do, trying to get it really precise. I think that's what they do with like Iraq or something. Doesn't sound like fun. I had a funny idea. They have like Wolfenstein and stuff. What if are they going to try and make the ultimate realistic World War I first-person shooter? God said to add wounded men moaning. They'll go, oh yeah, we have to do that. And then they're going to have an abomination on their hand. Who's going to want to play that? So like if your goal is to make it realistic, like realistic means the Iraq War planning for 2 days. Does that sound like fun? No. Does fighting in a World War I trench with moaning, that doesn't sound like fun. So I think realism, you have to be careful. At some point, if you make a game real, it's actually not fun. Space warfare is a good example. What would it be like? You would spend, you know, if we did space warfare today, like somebody starts on Jupiter and somebody starts on Earth, so like months and months of. I tried to imagine aiming lasers from days away. I wonder if you could do that. I don't know. I think the other guy just shifts over. I think, well, I don't know. The light minute, you know what? That's an interesting thought. What is it? 8 minutes light travel from the sun to Earth. If you were doing a battle from Jupiter or something, and you were approaching at our speeds, what would be the when would you be able to use a laser? If you're a day away, how much light lag is that? Not very much light lag. If the other guy can just move left or right, then he can avoid a laser if it's got light lag. I don't think you get much light lag at. So in other words, a space battle has to be fought pretty close together. It's not like you can zap them with a laser from a day away. I guess. Anyway, yeah, I don't think real space battle would be fun. I should blow up the buildings. Well, I guess I got month after month. I got month after month. You can bet those buildings are going to get blown up. Pew, pew, pew. Okay. You know what's funny is I grew up in the Cold War, and tank battles were relevant. What kind of shocked me was when I realized that normal people prefer relevant, and I was going, why don't people like tank battles? South Korea likes them. Then I kind of started to realize people like relevant. Only weird nerds that don't have a clue. That's why that's why I feel a lot better about my games. I made them relevant. They when I first made the bomber game, it was World War II, and I think normal people that aren't maybe not as nerdy, they really don't like World War II. They prefer. Normal people don't like World War II. They like, so I think it was wise to make this modern. Normal people that aren't nerds. Yeah, it was really weird. It's like, duh, when I was young, it was the Cold War. Okay, well. So you know, people might wonder why I'm not some people might wonder why I'm not working on my why I'm not busy. And the problem is doing stuff, being a manager is a lot harder than, you try to do stuff that matters and it's hard to think of what to do. I don't know how to explain that. There's a lot of people that would zombie walk and make an operating system like Linux. And I kind of have to tell them, no, it's not like I have a whole bunch of work on my plate that I can do to make it like Linux. I mean, most people look at me and they say, why aren't you busy making it like Linux? That's what they're thinking in their mind. But that's not really. So I have to think of, how many games do I want? You know what? One thing happened with my songs. I made these songs and I did them randomly, and I thought this will be great. Hello? Hello? That's what the applications are not counted in the total. Yeah, they're not. I just count the kernel and compiler. Bye. So he was wondering about counting the lines of code. I don't count the applications in towards the 100,000. That's an interesting point. I don't. You know, one thing I can do is, if I were being honest, I would sell a supplemental disk and try and make money for myself. But to be quite honest, I'm on disability and I have to file paperwork if I make money. And if it endangers my disability money forever. So if, let's just say I manage to make $1,300 for the next year, then I'm fucked. Now the reality is I would make $50 in a year because a couple people sent me a check. And then I would have to file paperwork. And that's just not. One time I tried to shareware SimStructure. 7,000 people downloaded it and one person sent me a check for $20. So I know what would happen. If I made TempleOS pay me $20, I would get one check every 5 months and nobody would be using it. That's what would happen if what I can't figure out is when do people discover the space alien? I don't understand. Once they discover the space alien, it's going to be world news. But apparently nobody has discovered the space alien. I'm sitting here waiting, I'm going to wake up and it's world news. I can't understand why they haven't discovered the space alien. I'm like, duh, at some point this is going to be the biggest thing in the world. I don't understand. Like, one day I'm going to wake up and the world discovers the space alien. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. So, what was I talking about? 100,000 lines of code. Oh, I know what I was talking about. So here's what happened. I want to be careful. There's an important thing to consider. This is really important. Okay, so the plan is to get people to make hymns, which God treats as an offering and gives them a reward. So that's the plan. This is supposed to be really glorious for people to make hymns, and non-musical people that aren't musical can get random melodies, and then they can put words on them, and then God will honor it as a an offering. That's the plan. But the problem is, one problem is, after doing 100 songs, I started to get 3-note phrases that were kind of repeated. It's like, oh, damn, that kind of sounds like my other song. And it really bummed me out. I was like, shit, this one kind of sounds like that one. And so at that point I panicked and I said, you know what? I'm going to take my songs off of the distribution, because what I really want is for people to write their own songs. And if people are writing their own songs, so what I really want is people writing their own songs. And the same thing holds true for video games. It might be really stupid. Like, I haven't made a platformer, like Mario World or something. I haven't done one of those. I could do that. But as I think about it, it might be actually counterproductive to put games on here, because they maybe I should take all of these games off and put them on the sell the disc. Although there isn't anybody who's actually. Another thing I learned from Sim Structure is nobody is willing to commit weeks of learning to master programming. Nobody knows how to program Sim Structure. Until this is God's official temple, recognized worldwide and really popular, nobody's going to learn. Nobody's going to invest weeks mastering how to program it. Like we did, we mastered the Commodore 64. You spend weeks and weeks on it. Right now there's not really a single third-party program. There's not a single third-party program, so it really hasn't. And I made an app store. Anybody who makes a third-party program, but it's just here's the problem. Nobody's going to spend weeks learning how to use it. So long as it is in the category of 100-user operating system. Once it's millions, then people start saying, wow, I can make a game that millions of people are going to use. But when it's only 100 or something, nobody's going to do it. So basically, I'm actually very smart. The best thing I can do is get the space alien known. Nothing else matters. There's only one thing that matters. There's only one way to success, and that's getting the space alien recognized by everybody. And that's live streaming. That gets the job done. I don't know. People don't quite seem to understand what random numbers are, but it hasn't really sunk in that this is a space alien. Some people don't quite understand. I try to explain it, but it doesn't really get through. It's like derp. You do a miracle, they're like derp. Fucking cows. So this is quantum random numbers, you know, some people are young and don't know how to hear. I should probably explain what's being said. That's not fun. That's like explaining jokes. It's like, explaining jokes is not really a fun way to make a living. Imagine a comedian who explains all his jokes. To money matters, 3 judges are deemed sufficient, while in cases of capital offense, 23 are required, etc. Sanhedrin. Rabbi Yehosha ben Levi said, in 24 cases doth the tribunal excommunicate for the honor of a rabbi, and all are explained in our Mishnah. Rabbi Elazar interposed and asked, where are they? The reply was, go and seek, and thou shalt find. And he went accordingly and sought, but found only 3. In the case of the man who lightly esteemed the washing of hands, of him who whispers evil behind the bier of a disciple of the wise, and of him who behaves haughtily towards the Most High. Barakoth. There are 3 degrees of excommunication, i.e., separation, exclusion, and excretion. That mentioned in the above extract is of the lowest degree and lasts never less than 30 days. And second degree of excommunication is prolonged of the first by 30 days more. The third and highest degree lasts for oh well, I guess I talk with God. You know, the one thing to remember, God is perfectly just. And, you know, there is long-term and short-term justice. There's long-term and short-term highs and lows. However, I have a strange suspicion that there's long-term highs and lows. I have a strange suspicion that my life, okay, so I have good and bad in my life. I have a sneaking suspicion that if my life got better, it would also get worse. I don't have to drive anywhere. I don't have to. I don't have any meetings. I never have to do anything when I'm tired. I never have to have an alarm clock. Like once a month, I gotta deal with an appointment. It's a strange kind of all my time is free time. So even if my life got better, it would also get worse. Not that, oh well. In other words, take comfort. Fuck it. In other words, take comfort. Fuck it. No, I don't go to church. Church is awful. I don't know how to. I have some. Do I have to go? Why would I go to church? I get nothing out of church. I read scriptures all day long. I don't really. I'm not really. I can meet and talk to people. Average people are pretty dumb. Doesn't. Okay, let's go look for an internet story. You know what? If I paid no attention to copyright, I could put the radio on, and then my video would get a copyright strike, and it would not list. But at least during the live stream, I could listen to copyright content. That's not really legal, I guess. It's not good to deliberately break the law. When it comes to sin, I think they have a category for unrepentant. I think this was more fun for the guy than for the girl. The girl's going, what a dork. You know what that reminds me of? Hold on a second. I have to show you something. I have a bird. Hey, do you think he'll copyright strike me? No.
Chernobyl.
What the fuck? What happened? Weird. The fuck? I hate when that happens. What the fuck?
Did you know that after the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear disaster at reactor number 4, that the other reactors on that site were not shut down permanently? In fact, they were kept running, producing electricity by workers who were brought in by train every day to work on those other reactors, the last of which was shut down around the year 2000. That is just one of the many surprising facts I found out while shooting a documentary for TV, which is called Uranium Twisting the Dragon's Tail. Now, while we were shooting this documentary, I would take out my little camera and shoot small pieces while they were setting up the big camera. This is James. Hello. But that's allowed me to make some YouTube videos for you, including the most radioactive places on Earth. And I'll have a few more of those videos coming out very soon. But what I wanted to show you was the trailer for this documentary. I want you guys to check out this trailer. Let me know what you think. And I will put at the end of the trailer the dates that this documentary will be aired in your area. It'll be played in the US, in Australia, and in Europe. So stay tuned to the end of this trailer to check out when it'll be on in your neck of the woods. So thank you guys so much for watching this YouTube channel, because without it, I never would have got the job hosting this TV documentary. And I really hope you enjoy it. We put so much work into it, and it looks amazing. So check it out. Here it is. Legends say there's a world beneath this one, where a dragon lies sleeping. They say be careful how you wake the dragon. Around the turn of the 20th century, uranium is almost unknown. It is basically worthless. But then in 40 years, just a single generation, it becomes the most desirable and terrifying rock on Earth. This is uranium. And as a physicist, I am fascinated by its unique scientific properties. But even more so by how this one rock has shaped the entire modern world. Uranium changes everything. Uranium makes the modern world. Uranium is a dream, clean, limitless power, or a nightmare of a silent and poisoned Earth. It's hot here. It's really hot. Come with me on a journey to find the most desirable. This is a nuclear reactor. And the most hated rock on Earth. It's that fear. If it blows, what's gonna happen? How did we unleash the elemental force within uranium? What happened when we woke the dragon? This is the story of how rock changed the world.
Okay, so we can use vacuum. We can use quantum. We can use antiparticle. Any random. There are many sources of random numbers you can find on the internet, and all of them work. Some people think Leibniz thought God planned everything, set everything in motion from the start of creation. And if you have that impression, then he's all powerful, and it's kind of like Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris doesn't need to apply forces. The particles just want to be there ahead of time. Chuck Norris does not apply forces. The particles wanted to be there. Okay, so I hate when that happens. So we got 00034, August 1989. Hey, that's like Chernobyl, pretty not really. You have to understand approximations. Then, whatever. Project Gutenberg e-text of the King James Bible. This file should be named King James version 10. Fuck you. Corrected editions of our e-text get a new number. Warning. Also look for our Bible e-text under that. Project Gutenberg e-texts are usually created from multiple editions, all of which are in the public domain in the United States unless a copyright notice is included. Therefore, we do usually do not keep these books in compliance with any particular paper edition. So I can go to the other random number sites and prove it. Only one of them is actually certified. You know how you have a state lottery? Well, NIST publishes numbers just like a state lottery website so that everybody can see them if they go check. If you're watching my live stream, maybe you think I have something fake. But if I use the NIST, you can check the number yourself, just like checking a lottery number. Nobody seems to kind of realize that it's fucking proof. Even if you prove it, they're like, derp. It doesn't quite sink in. It's like impossible to make them realize, dude, man, it's a fucking random number. Oh well, I guess that's... I don't really want to watch that, do I? Why do I want to watch that? No, I don't want to watch that. He's not going to copyright strike me, is he? No. He wouldn't do that. You want to know why I don't go to church?
We tried to think up a drink for schooner vodka with ginger beer. We came up with the name... Chuck Swindoll is a lot better than a Catholic priest. Moscow Mule. Just how it originated, I don't know. But I imagine that it had to do with a tick.
fuck this. Are you crazy? I guess I'll do a Moses comic. Oi. Shit. That's not very funny. So if you go to Google and you Google Rosebud, okay. So God's feeling pretty generous. He's being nice. I bet he gives me a pretty decent answer. And when the Philistines looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and a ruddy and fair countenance. And the Philistine said unto David, Am I a dog that you comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, Come to me, and I will give thy flesh to the fowls of the air and to the beasts of the field. Then said David unto the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will the Lord deliver thee into my hand, and I will smite thee, and take thy head from thee, and give thee the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. kind of, well, taken by itself, that's a little bit, taken by itself, that's not that impressive, but when you do a miracle like that 10 times in a row, it begins to seem more impressive. What the fuck am I gonna do? Fuck. This is getting old. The one thing you have to remember is God is perfectly just. All you have to remember is God is perfectly just. The enemy likes to fuck with you. And you can just laugh at the enemy because God is perfectly just. There's never any reason to worry. Never worry. God is perfectly just. They fuck with you, you can laugh at them. Because highs and lows balance, okay? The enemy is a I have a space alien. Pay me. Okay? Fuck you. This date to fight against me. Then Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead and fought with Ephraim. And the men of Gilead smote Ephraim, because they said, Ye Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim among the Ephraimites and among the Manassites. And the Gileadites took the passages of Jordan before the Ephraimites. And it was so. And when those Ephraimites were escaped, said, Let me go over. That the men of Gilead said unto him, Art thou an Ephraimite? And he said, Nay. And he said they unto him, Say now, Sibboleth. And he said, Sibboleth, for he could not frame to pronounce it right. Then they took him and slew him at the passages of Jordan, and there fell at the time of the Ephraimites 40 and 2,000. Jephthah judged Israel 6 years. He died. Then died Jephthah the Gileadite, and was buried in one of the cities of Gilead. Then after him is Ibzan of Bethlehem judged Israel, and he had 30 sons and 30 daughters whom he sent. This ain't real clear on a fucking random number space alien. This dumb fuck. God is perfectly just. That's the beginning and that's the end. And the doesn't know what a random number is. It's just Fraser and the psyops, fucking dumb fucks. CIA trying to grieve me, fucking with me with Snowden. Don't worry, God is perfectly just. Joseph went to prison for false rape, and that's how he earned credit to be in charge of Egypt. Watch this.
And climbs all the way to a prince, from a prisoner to a prince. And we learn in this study that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask or think. Now, let me ask you this question as we start. Do you believe that? Do you believe that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above what you ask? Not only do I believe that God can do that, I believe that God will do that. Now, the Bible says that promotion doesn't come from the east or the west or the south, but promotion comes from God. We could say promotion doesn't come from men, promotion comes from God. Therefore, if you are a man-pleaser, if you try to manipulate the situations and circumstances so that you can take advantage of people who may be able to promote you, you basically are wasting your time. You really need to live your life in such a way that God is pleased with you. What is important is what God sees, because God is the one who promotes. Now, if there is a marker of the life of Joseph, at least one of them would be that during the early part of his life, from the time that he was born until he was 30, the man went through some hardships. He faced difficulties. For the last 13 years, as this chapter opens up, he is 30 years old. For the last 13 years, he has spent them in Egypt in slavery and in prison. He has been betrayed by his brothers. He has been slandered by his master's wife. He has been forgotten about by friends in prison. Joseph went through a lot. I think it's safe to say that you have not gone through as much as what Joseph went through. These experiences in the life of Joseph could have very easily have made him bitter. But I think that we learn how God uses hardships and difficulties by studying his life. Why does God allow us to go through hard times? Why is it that we face difficulties? I think Job finally got a hold of it. Joseph suffered a lot, but I don't think he suffered anywhere near as much as Job, do you? Out of all of the people in the Bible that suffered the most, Job is at the top of the list. And in the middle of the book of Job, early in the book of Job, Job says this: if God were a man and I could find him, I would track him down and I would sit across from him and I would say to him, what are you doing? There's a godly man saying that. Have you ever felt that way? Has your life ever taken such directions that you thought, if I could sit down in front of God and ask him what he was doing, I would do it? What are you doing, God? But later on, about chapter 20, Job said, God knows my ways, and when he has refined me, I will come forth as gold. Job found the key to what God does in difficult times in our lives. He refines us. He's turning us into gold. Now, make no mistake about it. Difficulties and hardships might not refine you and turn you into gold. I like what Warren Wiersbe said years ago. He said that difficulties and hardships are either going to make you bitter or they're going to make you better. It's like pressure that causes us to come out as gold or causes that which is in us to be revealed as something that is not good. Now, I wish that God developed character in our lives some other way. If God uses difficulties and hardships, and Joseph eventually learned this, he said to his brothers at one point, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. that good to know? That what men mean for evil in our lives, God means it for good? And Joseph saw God's hand in the midst of what he faced. Now, what if character were built in our lives, not through difficulty and hardships, but rather through comfort, ease, and joy? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great if you said life is so comfortable, it's so good, I'm so full of joy right now, God's building deep character in my life? But it doesn't work that way. I wish it did, but it doesn't. God takes us through hardships and difficulties that he might work in us what he wants us to do. And Joseph became the kind of man that Joseph became because God was at work.
So, anyway. So let's get God to talk. You want to talk, Mr.? He already talked. You want to talk some more? Knocked over my soda. Hold this here. I should have done a Moses comic. God said they were calisthenics. Plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance. Highs and lows balance. A time to cast away stone, time to gather that stones together, time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, time to get, a time to lose, time to keep, a time to cast away, time to rend, a time to sow, a time to keep silent, time to speak, a time of love, time of hate, time of war, time of peace. What profit has he that worketh in that wherein he laboureth? I have seen the travail which God hath given the sons of men to be exercised in. He hath made everything beautiful in its time. He also hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. I know that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life. Sit down. You're not getting any food. The aliens would teach us English. That's what would happen. Talk like a white man. Shut up, dog. Nope. Nope. Okay, so, what are you gonna go do? That doesn't look good. for my noise, no. they gave their hands that they would put away their wives, and being guilty they offered a ram of the flock for their trespass. And of the sons of Immer, Hananiah, and Zebediah. And of the sons Harim, Messiah, and Elijah, and Shemaiah, and Jehiel, and Uzziah. And of the sons Pashur, Elianiah, Messiah, Ishmael, Nathaniel, Josabad, and Elashia. Also of the of the singers. So, this question arises a lot. So first of all, it's not C. It doesn't compile with any other compiler. It's not C. It doesn't compile with any other compiler. You tell the that, he's like, no, you're lying. You didn't write a compiler. I'm sorry, a white man can write a compiler. You are a fucking okay? Fuck yourself. So, there's an addressing mode which takes a 32-bit immediate and it's RIP relative. Move REX. If you do this, it's RIP relative. What I do is I put all code in the lowest 2 gig. And because I do that, this mode can reach any other location in the same 2 gig. So I put all code in the lowest 2 gig. That's called the code heap. I don't use paging. I do, but it's identity mapped. I'm trying to explain this. I don't use paging. So the says, I saw code on the stack. I'm going, you saw a number, 7FF, something like this, and you thought it was stacked because you're a That's what happened. Okay? In actual fact, the code heap starts at 8,000 and shaves off slices from the top. And what you saw was an address on the code heap. You're a okay? The says, you can't do multitasking without paging. Well, we did it in fucking school. As a 2-week project, we did a scheduler on an 8-bit 6800. You can't do multitasking without paging. Well, yes you can. Let's do a thought experiment. Is 7FFF the stack always the stack when you're not using paging? Let's do a thought experiment. If task 1 has a stack pointer, is it possible for task 2 to have this stack pointer? If you do not have paging, how is this going to work? You have 2 of them using the same address for the stack, and you're not using paging. Well, obviously you can't do that. You have to put this fucker somewhere else. Okay? And at this point, you realize 7FFF doesn't mean jack shit. Okay? It's because you're That's the problem. Okay? So the heap on my, when you do malloc, it comes off of I have 64 gig on Satan, my other computer, and when you do malloc, it comes off of the area above 2 gig. So, yeah, and says, and there was an MIT, he said, I saw the weirdest I saw the crappiest project. It had code executing off the stack. I sat there and I listened for a minute, and I go, ha ha ha, that MIT thinks that's the stack. Oh shit, what are we gonna do? No, 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 no. Okay, now what do we do? I guess I got to do a Moses count. I don't want to talk anymore. Just shut down.